Good evening, I'm Christian. Piekos, southwest Louisiana is bracing for heavy rain from Tropical Storm Harvey. This after hours of rain earlier today. We have complete team coverage here in southwest Louisiana, but first, let's send it right over to Chief Meteorologist Wade Hampton with the latest. Wade?
And Christian, beginning to see rain coming back once again into portions of southwest Louisiana. It's not as widespread as earlier or as heavy, but certainly there is rain nonetheless. And at this point, that is not necessarily a good thing. There's a look at 7 Storm Vision HD. We'll do a little radar tour here real quick. Good news, inland area is not seeing much. Most of this is very light for Vernon, Beauregard, and Allen, but farther south, definitely a little bit heavier rainfall. Still not as extensive or as widespread or as heavy as what we saw earlier today, but nonetheless rain falling across portions of Calcasieu as well as Cameron and Jeff Davis parishes, and all that rain is moving to the north, and there is more offshore, beginning to see an increase in showers and thunderstorms. A few of these storms offshore showing some signs of rotation. There is a tornado watch officially in effect until 2 o'clock in the morning. Most likely this will be a problem right along the immediate coastline, and once the storms move inland, they will quickly weaken. That has been the case with all of these, but just be advised, maybe interrupting newscast or even after the newscast for potential tornado warnings. Rain chances will continue to increase overnight tonight, and I think more likely as we head closer to daylight tomorrow morning. In fact, very good chance for rain being an issue first thing tomorrow morning. I'll have more information on how much rain we may see coming up in a few minutes. Christian.
Keep us posted, Wade. Yep. Elected officials prepped southwest Louisiana earlier today ahead of the impending downpour. A big concern for many here, having enough shelter for the homeless population during the rain. Mayor Nick Hunter now opening up the Purple Heart Rec Center in Lake Charles as a temporary shelter. KPLC's Caitlin Rust is live at the rec center and has more on today's OEP briefing.
Christian, as heavy waves of rain approach southwest Louisiana, OEP officials are warning the worst is yet to come. For those here tonight at the Purple Heart Memorial Rec Center, a huge weight has been lifted off of their shoulders. More on that later, but first I'm going to break down everything you need to know in preparation for this major rain event.
Don't let your guard down. When it's over and we say the all clear, then they can relax. But I just don't know when we're going to get to that point. It looks like we're going to be in for a week long dealing with weather, but I think, again, the worst part of it hopefully will end in the next 36 hours.
An urgent warning from Sheriff Tony Mancuso today after the first OEP and NWS briefing of the day, a drastic difference from yesterday's more hopeful tone. Today we learned the worst has yet to come. The National Weather Service is predicting 10 to 20 inches of rain for the day and 5 to 10 inches Monday across southwest Louisiana. And officials say there's a lot of unpredictability still. Elected officials gathered to remind the community this isn't over yet. They still need to stay off the roads.
You know, we put barricades up for a reason, whether it be on the roadways, on our boat launches, and they're not to be moved. If we catch you moving them, we're going to cite you, and you're going to have to deal with the consequences of it.
We already have 5 of them damaged because people don't stop. They're running them over, going around them. They're up there for a reason, and we're going to take this serious.
And of course, with officials urging everyone to stay inside, that means everyone, even those without a place to stay. That's why I'm joined here tonight by Mayor Nick Hunter, who has decided to open up the doors of the rec center for those who don't have a place to stay tonight. Thank you for joining us here.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy to be here.
Of course. So what led to the decision to open the doors here tonight?
Well, our office got a lot of phone calls, and I even got some personal texts and phone calls that we really hadn't done anything for the homeless population and others who maybe couldn't find shelter. And I was just sitting at home with my wife and my newborn with plenty of shelter over my head, and I thought it's just not right that they've been out there for 3 or 4 days in these elements. So we went ahead and pulled the trigger and opened up Purple Heart for a very temporary, I want to stress, very temporary situation just to get through the worst of the weather so that we don't have some of our brothers and sisters out there on the streets tonight.
Of course. How long are you guys expecting to be open here till?
The goal is 24 hours, 48 hours at the very max. And that's one thing we want to stress to people, that this is not a long-term shelter. This should be a shelter of last resort. And so we'll kind of play it by ear with the way the weather moves out tomorrow. But hopefully in a day, 48 hours max, we can wrap this area up.
Of course. And I know you were saying that space is very limited. limited, but those who truly need it can come here.
Sure, and I think at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do, is just realize that we have brothers and sisters out there that are in the middle of some pretty horrendous elements right now. So if they are out there in those elements and they have nowhere else to go, we're opening up Purple Heart.
And do you guys need anything? Do you need volunteers, supplies?
Here's how I'm going to answer that. We don't need volunteers tonight, and we don't even necessarily need supplies tonight. However, this should be a wake-up call for not only governmental officials, but our community, that we do have a homeless population out there. And we have a homeless problem here in Lake Charles. So if you don't bring supplies or volunteer tonight, don't let that deter you from wanting to get involved in the future. We have some organizations. I know Water's Edge Church has a great group that does a lot of work with the homeless. You can donate to them, not only if you don't have the money or the means to do it with actual items, your time helps too. So while we don't need it tonight, the homeless population out there really does need your help in the future.
That's wonderful. It's great to raise awareness about this.
Absolutely.
Now, going more in a general sense of Lake Charles, what are your main priorities ahead of Harvey?
Well, a few days ago, what we started doing was being very proactive, going and sending our public works crews out to those storm drains and basins to try and clean them as much as possible, putting barricades where we knew that we had prone flooding areas that are prone to flooding. And so we've just been trying to be proactive as possible, and we're going to handle this the best we can. I'm very confident in our public works and our public safety.
Of course. And what do you want everyone here in Lake Charles to know ahead of this major rain event?
Don't get on the roads unless you absolutely have to, and we're going to take care of those people that have emergency situations.
Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us here tonight. We're going to have more on what's going on here at the Rec Center coming up in a little bit, but first I'm going to send it back to you in the studio. Christian?
Katie, thanks. And while many residents in Lake Charles were dealing with heavy rainfall and street flooding, one family says they're lucky to be alive. A massive tree fell in their home today. KPLC's Paris Jones spoke with that family and joins us from their damaged home. Paris?
Christian, this all happened at the house that you see behind me here on the 1900 block of A Street. Now, witnesses tell me that there was no rain or wind in sight when the tree fell on the house, and it's leaving everyone scratching their heads as to how this even happened.
From Louisiana Avenue to the intersection of Lake and Saye Street, Harvey left many of the streets in southwest Louisiana with high waters.
Harvey is doing the most out here. He done did the most in Texas, and he's doing too much.
Patricia Adams lives in the area of Kirkman and Pine Street, one of the many areas in the city that saw significant flooding throughout the day.
It came way up here. You know, water was wherever you couldn't even see the sidewalk.
Adams says she knows this is just the beginning.
Stay in if you have to stay in. Do not drive, especially down Price Street and Pine Street.
But residents realize that heavy rainfall and flooded streets is part of living in the Bayou State.
We're prepared. We're prepared. We're going to move out of this one and move into another one and see what it do.
Now, coming up in the next half hour, we share some what we saw driving around Lake Charles today in regards to flooding around the city. For now, at your service, Paris Jones, KPLC 7 News.
Paris, thanks. With the heavy flooding right now, there are many schools closed tomorrow. All Calcasieu and Cameron Parish public and private schools will be closed. Jeff Davis Parish schools will be closed as well. They'll join McNeese and the Sowella Technical Community College. This list will be updated as the day and week goes on. You can find the full list online at kplctv.com and on your 7 News mobile app. With widespread flooding, some power outages are expected. This is a live look at current Entergy outages. 140 residents in Calcasieu Parish are without power right now, and 25 in Jeff Davis Parish. We'll continue to keep you updated on power outage later in Nightcast Extra. And if you want to help out in Houston, please do not go, first of all, but instead donate through the Red Cross. All you have to do is text Harvey to 90999 to donate $10. Again, that's Harvey to 90999. The money will be drafted during your next phone bill. Well, as our team coverage of Tropical Storm Harvey continues, we'll take you to the front lines of the unprecedented flooding situation in Houston, how the Bayou State is lending a much-needed hand.
It was a phenomenon that changed television forever.
Eyebrow plucker,
live waxer, parasite, overbite, lady, tramp, underdeveloped calf.
This fall, the 16-time Emmy winner's back.
Okay, he's a man, but he's aged into a lesbian.
Newt Gingrich. Yes. And they're picking up right where they left off.
Reiner has gotten so skanky. I feel like I could get finger herpes just from scrolling.
Will and Grace returns Thursdays this fall on NBC.
Oh, there's a gay guy within 10 feet from...
At Billy Navar's Quick Lube and Car Wash, our oil change service is, well, quick and easy. And we will have you out in minutes. And when it comes to tires, we carry most every major brand at the lowest prices, guaranteed. At Billy Navar's Quick Lube and Car Wash in Lake Charles and Sulphur.
Get your first alert for your night, for your morning, for your weekend, for the next storm. Right here on KPLC 7 News. The 7 Storm Team is at your service every day, so you can be ready for what's next, making your drive home faster, your night safer, and your morning smoother. Get your first alert every day from the 7 Storm Team, the team you can rely on.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. It's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day.
From everyone at Billy Navar, we'd like to thank the over 6,500 customers that made last year one of our best ever. We truly appreciate all of you and look forward to serving you again soon at the Billy Navar dealerships in Lake Charles and Sulphur.
Governor John Bel Edwards is reaffirming his promise to help out our Texas neighbors. Many in our state are familiar with this kind of weather.
Everybody in Louisiana is watching TV right now, and they're seeing those images coming out of Texas, and we've seen an awful lot of that here in Louisiana, and the folks in Texas are going to be going through this for quite some time, and so we certainly offer them our assistance as best we can to be a good neighbor for them, and we offer them our prayers as well.
A team from the Governor's Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness is on its way to Texas. Emergency officials are not the only ones sending help. The Cajun Navy is again mobilizing its volunteers, sending boats and crews to the Lone Star State. The grassroots group was born last year to help families trapped by the August floods, and now those same rescuers are working to get help to flood victims caught in Texas. Messages are being blasted across Facebook and Twitter. Even some Texas emergency officials are asking for volunteers with boats to help. Catastrophic and life-threatening flooding continues in Houston. Over 1,000 people have been rescued. The storm has now claimed the lives of 2 people in Texas. Authorities expect the death toll to rise. Agencies say more than 24 inches of rain fell in 24 hours in Houston. The head of FEMA says his agency will be in Texas for years, adding, quote, "This disaster is going to be a landmark event." The Coast Guard is even asking residents to mark their roofs so helicopters can see them from above.
We would ask that you mark your roof to be seen from the air, wave sheets, towels, or anything to get our attention. And think about safety if you are going on the roof. This is going to be a prolonged weather event.
The National Weather Service is calling Hurricane Harvey unprecedented and beyond anything experienced. The mayor of Houston says its emergency system is being overwhelmed with phone calls from people needing help. Mayor Sylvester Turner says they have a backlog of about 1,000 calls that they have not been able to get to. They are handling life-threatening situations first.
We have received more than 2,000 calls for rescues on 911. I know people are trying to reach 911, may not be getting a response. I understand that. The system, there are a lot of people who are calling, but let me ask, let's give preference to the life-threatening calls, okay?
Turner says the safest place for Houston residents to be is in their homes, even if water is coming in. As flooding from Tropical Storm Harvey cripples the Houston area, airports have become a major concern. Houston's George Bush Intercontinental Airport is closed. The FAA says it may reopen tomorrow. Houston's Hobby Airport is also closed Wednesday morning. Officials have confirmed that a tornado touched down in Fort Bend County, Texas last night. This is a county southwest of Houston. Officials say the tornado touched down around 8:15 p.m. local time in the Missouri City area. The extent of property damage is unknown at this time. Fortunately, no major injuries or fatalities have been reported. As our coverage of Tropical Storm Harvey continues, officials are frantically working to assess and comprehend the damage. This, as the worst is yet to come. Plus, it's one of the most compelling images out of the flooding in Texas. We'll show you who was in dire need of rescuing. Don't go anywhere.
Long live the fearless, and long live the trucks with load-leveling suspension to shoulder the weight. You connect with an 8.4-inch touchscreen and the superior ride and handling to help you go above and beyond. Get a great deal on America's longest-lasting pickups during the Ram Labor Day sales event.
Get 0% APR for 72 months or finance and get 20% off total values on the 2017 Ram 1500 Laramie Crew Cab.
I got T-bone on a Saturday, so I called Gordon. And someone came to our house the same day. It was Saturday. By Monday, Gordon was working my case, and I never had to deal with the insurance company again. Gordon got it done.
That's right. At Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys, we work weekends. We answer the phone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So whether it's 10 in the morning or 10 at night, we're ready to go to work for you.
Call 888-8888.
For the first time ever, you've made Billy Navarre of Lake Charles one of the top 100 dealers in America, and we thank you. Considering there are over 20,000 car dealers in America, this is a monumental feat, and we could not have done it without all our loyal friends and customers. And we promise to continue to exhaust every talent and effort to remain one of the top 100 dealers in America at Billy Navarre Chevrolet Cadillac, Billy Navarre Honda, Billy Navarre Hyundai Genesis, Billy Navarre Certified in Lake Charles, and Billy Navarre Chevrolet in Sulphur.
Our KPLC 7 sports person of the week is powerlifter Gerald Welch. The Hackberry native's 7-year powerlifting career resulted in several national titles and a world record. Welch recorded a free lift of 2,167 pounds. That included bench press, squat, and deadlift.
The 7 Sports Person of the Week is sponsored by Billy Navarre. With quick service and low prices, we challenge any dealer in America to beat.
Over 1,000 water rescues, residents making their way to dry land, cars abandoned. The major concern is historic flooding in the Houston metro area. Relief isn't expected for days to come. Emily Schmidt brings us to Victoria, Texas with the latest.
Hundreds of rescues and harrowing scenes in and around Houston as the floodwaters rise.
It's flooded. Everything's flooded over there.
From Corpus Christi up through Houston, the havoc of Harvey is far from over.
There have been numerous reports of streets and highway flooding. We all know that. And most major thoroughfares and their feeder roads are impassable.
In Rockport, Texas, on the coast and hard hit by the storm's arrival Friday, a second pass of search and rescue took place Sunday morning. It's another day of trying to assess and comprehend the damage.
You see, people work their lives to build something, and in one night it's all gone.
And as Harvey dumps more rain over the middle and upper Texas coast, maybe as much as 40 inches in some areas, residents fear the worst.
Basically looks like an apocalypse, and people said that Katrina was pretty bad, but this right here, I wasn't in Katrina. This right here seems like it might be pretty close, and this is just like the first day.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott says he's received offers of help from all around the country.
We've even received assistance from Governor Cuomo in New York, as well as offers of help from Florida, Arizona. This is something where everybody from the United States is pitching in to help out.
The federal government is already eyeing a long recovery.
FEMA's going to be there for years, sir. This disaster recovery, this disaster is going to be a landmark event.
In Victoria, Texas, I'm Emily Schmidt.
In Dickinson, Texas, seniors at a nursing home were stuck in waist-deep water. The woman who owns the nursing home took this photo. Her son-in-law tells NBC News that 15 senior citizens were rescued from the nursing home. They were taken to higher ground via helicopter and the Coast Guard. Harvey's impact to the oil and Gulf market and gas markets remains unclear. Throughout the Gulf Coast, key refineries and production facilities have been forced to close. ExxonMobil shut down its Baytown refinery. That's the second largest in the country. Officials say a hurricane response team has been activated. With Houston taking such a big hit, it's more and more likely that next week's game between LSU and BYU could have to be played somewhere else. Officials at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans say they are on standby should the game need to be played there. Representatives of each school are meeting with ESPN to talk about where to play the game. Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge is also an option. And Wade, when can we really expect this heavy rain to hit our area?
Well, I think it's going to be later on tonight, possibly into tomorrow morning when we start to see that. A quick look at the radar does show a good amount of rain beginning to develop once again. I'll have some information on possible rainfall totals and how long this will last coming up right after this.
Want a better understanding of the law? The Legal Brief explains your rights. Monday mornings at 6:30 on 7 News Sunrise. Brought to you by Cox, Philo, Camel, and Wilson.
Identity theft can happen to anyone.
My savings account and my checking accounts were both drained. All of my money was gone.
I could not believe that somebody would steal my tax refund. It made me angry.
She had my social security number, and she was able to make a purchase for $8,000.
Today's technology makes identity theft easier and easier. If you use a smartphone, shop online, use public Wi-Fi, or fill out forms or applications, you're at risk. There's a new victim of identity fraud every 2 seconds. 1 in 4 people have already experienced it. Is there anything you can do about it?
I called LifeLock.
Millions of people have already become members. LifeLock's proprietary technology scans hundreds of millions of transactions each second to spot threats to your identity. If we detect your information being used, you get an alert. If you have a problem, a U.S.-based restoration agent will work to fix it. And you'll be covered by LifeLock's $1 million protection package, including lawyers and experts if needed, and reimbursement of stolen funds and personal expenses up to the limits of your plan.
You have this whole team of people on your side, and you know that you don't have to go it alone.
And unlike free credit monitoring that just monitors your credit, LifeLock detects and works to fix identity theft.
LifeLock, they're not just going to monitor your credit, they're going to be there to help you afterwards if something happens.
Join today for as low as $9.99 per month and get 60 days risk-free with promo code LL60. LifeLock members get identity threat detection and alerts, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration agent assigned to your case, and you'll be covered by LifeLock's $1 million protection package. Start your membership today. Enroll in minutes.
Having LifeLock, we didn't feel like victims anymore.
LifeLock. Call 1-800-403-2659 or visit LifeLock60.com. Use promo code LL60 to get your 60 days risk-free and a free shredder with annual membership. Call now.
The 7 Storm Team Skycam Network is sponsored by Billy Navarre. With quick service and low prices, we challenge any dealer in America to beat. The 7 Storm Team Personal Forecast is sponsored by Home Building Materials, Home Furniture, and Lakeside Bank. From the 7 Storm Team, your first alert weather with Chief Meteorologist Wade Hampton.
Well, good evening to you. Obviously a very active day, and I think it's going to be an active, especially tomorrow morning coming up for our Mondays. Please keep that in mind. I realize there's a lot of offices and schools, of course, that are closed, so that's good news in a way. That means many of you will not have to get out and about, but I do know that there are some of you that still do have to get up and go to work, so those of you that do will definitely probably be contending with rain somewhere in our vicinity. Now, I can't tell you exactly where it'll rain and exactly when. Obviously, there's no way to do that any day. But in this scenario, I think there's a good chance that someone in southwest Louisiana sees rain very late tonight into the morning tomorrow. Beyond that, we're probably still going to see rain for days to come off and on. It will be in waves. It's not going to rain the entire time. And I think our best chance for rain is tonight into the day tomorrow. Live look outside, though, right now showing relatively little to no rain across most of Vernon Parish. A few places dealing with a little bit of light rain. Same story in portions of Beauregard. There's not a lot, and what rain there is relatively light, but there are showers moving out of Calcasieu Parish. Places like DeQuincy has some light rain. That's moving north into places like Bancroft, up toward the Fields area. Also some showers near the Ragley area. That's lifting north. A little bit heavier rain from Sulphur Points west over toward near the Vinton area. That too lifting north. And then looking farther south, yet a good amount of rain going on across sections of Cameron Parish. You can see that most of this is light to moderate, but everywhere you see the red coloration, it is a little bit heavier in the way of rain. And I've been watching a couple of these storms, which at least earlier when they were farther south were showing some signs of some rotation. Just during the commercial break, I was checking a couple of these storms out, that one and that one both. Not showing as much signs of rotation now, but can't rule out an isolated and very brief lived tornado as those move inland, especially once they move right off the Gulf into Cameron Parish. I'll continue to monitor these, and if anything is issued as far as warnings, we'll let you know. Wider View confirms a couple of things. I told you if you're watching at 5 o'clock that we would probably begin to see bands redeveloping tonight. Normally with a weakening tropical system that's setting inland, you actually get more rain to form during the evening and later on into the overnight hours, and seeing a couple of hints of that. One, unfortunately, Houston, yes, they've actually been dealing with tornado warnings once again over there too. And you can see a pretty good band trying to form from Houston Point south into the Gulf of Mexico. The other one actually is over our area here in southwest Louisiana. It extends down into the Gulf of Mexico. Now, what these bands were doing, they move to the east with time. So I think the one over us, yes, it's going to bring rain for the next couple of hours in a scattered nature, but I think that may slide on to the east. What we're going to have to watch will be the progress of this band near Houston overnight, slowly migrating up the coastline our way. How far east does it get? That remains the big question. It is something I'll be watching for a while. Meteorologist Ben Terry will be in later on tonight into the early morning hours tomorrow. And, of course, he'll have complete updates during 7 News Sunrise. I do want to show you a computer model forecast, although I will say this is greatly overdoing the rain right now. I just showed you radar, and there's not a lot of rain, and certainly nothing as heavy as what the computer model is indicating. So take this with a grain of salt, but it is worth showing the idea that more rain will develop overnight with time and probably to our west and then gradually spread eastward with time. Notice this is closer to daylight tomorrow morning, a good scattering of showers and storms. Of course, it is a computer model forecast. It's never going to be perfect with its placement of rain nor the exact timing, but the idea that somewhere between Houston and probably as far east as Lafayette could deal with heavy rain at some point overnight into the morning looks quite likely. And as far as rain amounts, 5, maybe as much as 10 inches in at least some areas. There will be places that see less. There certainly could be a few areas that see even more than that. So if you live in a flood-prone area, please be very mindful of that. Be ready to take action at a moment's notice. And, of course, you have to drive. Please be extra cautious. There is a flash flood watch in effect through Thursday evening because we're not going to be done with rain just because it ends tomorrow. There will be more and more rain in the coming days, although I think the rain after tomorrow will be a little bit more scattered and not as heavy in nature. There's also a tornado watch in effect till 2 a.m. for Calcasieu, Jeff Davis, and Cameron parishes. Again, a few of those storms could be rotating. So what should you do? Obviously, the biggest one, make sure you keep our news and weather apps handy. And, of course, once the flooding begins, stay off the roadways. Here's a look at the 7-day forecast. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just put the rain chance tomorrow at 100%. It may not rain the entire day, but it's a very good likelihood we will see rain at some point tomorrow. Please be cautious if you are driving. Do not drive through water if you don't know how deep it is. Already saw some of that today. Please be smart about that.
Certainly a number of unknowns.
Yeah, definitely so.
All right. Thanks, Wade. Coming up on Nightcast, President Trump's FEMA chief is promising not to make the same mistakes twice when it comes to Hurricane Harvey. How the commander-in-chief is responding to this tropical storm.
The Weather Watcher Network is sponsored by Mark Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Only at Billy Navarre Hyundai will you get the best warranty in the business.
And now pay just $14,995 on new Billy Navarre Hyundai Elantras, or only $17,995 on new Billy Navarre Hyundai Sonatas at Billy Navarre Hyundai in Lake Charles.
Hi, I'm Dr. Bob Anderson with Calcasieu Urgent Care. Did you know the average urgent care visit is only 20 minutes? Your time is valuable, so look for our big green doors and let us take care of you.
On September 1st, 2017, Amerigroup Louisiana will become Healthy Blue. For all your Medicaid and LeChip benefits after September 1st, 2017, it's Healthy Blue. Same people, same benefits. Better with Blue Cross and Blue Shield.
The other driver was texting and slammed into me. Who do I call?
Pick up the phone and make the call to Harvey Duvall. We have a track record of winning against the big insurance companies.
They settled my accident case for $750,000.
At Harvey Duvall, we've recovered millions for our injured clients. After a car or big truck accident, hire the right law firm.
Injured? Make the call to Harvey Duvall. Just dial 9 and all zeros.
Get your first alert for your night, for your morning, for your weekend, for the next storm. Right here on KPLC 7 News. The 7 Storm Team is at your service every day so you can be ready for what's next, making your drive home faster, your night safer, and your morning smoother. Get your first alert every day from the 7 Storm Team, the team you can rely on.
I used to think news is news, but it's not. There's a big difference between local broadcast news and the rest. See, local stations connect my community on every device, with no bias like on cable shout shows and social media. For news I can trust, I stay local.
Cynthia Arsenault and Randall Cam, weeknights at 10.
Only at Billy Navarre Hyundai will you get the best warranty in the business.
And now pay just $14,995 on new Billy Navarre Hyundai Elantras, or only $17,995 on new Billy Navarre Hyundai Sonatas at Billy Navarre Hyundai in Lake Charles.
President Donald Trump says he'll be traveling to Texas Tuesday as he met with cabinet members today to get an update on this massive storm. The president is assuring Texans his administration won't repeat mistakes of the past like what happened after Hurricane Katrina. NBC's Jennifer Johnson has that part of our story.
President Trump returning from Camp David, where he was monitoring FEMA's response to Hurricane Harvey. Mr. Trump will look at the devastation firsthand Tuesday. The president has been praising federal and state emergency workers dealing with this historic event, as his FEMA chief promises the mistakes of the past, namely Hurricane Katrina, will not be repeated.
We're already pushing forward forces to be on the ground to implement National Flood Insurance Program policies as well, and doing the inspections that we need. So we're setting up and gearing up for the next couple years.
The man who became the face of Katrina's botched federal response has this advice for Mr. Trump.
These kinds of disasters can make or break a presidency. They can establish the narrative. So get ahead of it now. And frankly, getting ahead of it is not just good politics. It's actually saving lives.
This storm is deflecting another one facing the president after he pardoned controversial Arizona Sheriff Joe Arpaio, who was convicted of contempt for failing to halt immigration patrols that harshly profiled Latinos.
We do clemencies over time, but we make sure that people did proper restitution. I wouldn't have done it this way.
But the White House is hoping that storm will blow over, as it focuses on this one that could be the costliest in U.S. history. Jennifer Johnson, NBC News.
As we continue our team coverage of Tropical Storm Harvey, Sheriff Tony Mancuso has a strong message for Southwest Louisiana as the rain moves in. Why he wants you to stay on guard as this dangerous weather system nears. Plus, it's becoming all too common. More and more drivers turning around to avoid flooded roads. We'll bring you to some of the most notoriously flooded streets in our area. And we'll let you know which schools are closed tomorrow. All of that and more coming up on Nightcast.
We surprised fans with this award-winning lineup. Then, they experienced Nissan's award-winning lineup.
Stop for it. That's incredible.
It's Nissan's bottom line model year-end event. Lease the Rogue family, starting at just $159 per month.
KPLC is part of this community, investing millions of dollars every year to cover the local stories that affect all of us in Southwest Louisiana. We provide breaking news and severe weather warnings that keep you and your family safe, plus the best NBC shows, sports, and local programming. We are currently working with DirecTV to reach a fair agreement and avoid the removal of KPLC from their system. But there is a chance they will decide to drop this station. Please go to www.ourlocalcommitment.com for more information.
Long live the fearless, and long live the trucks with load-leveling suspension to shoulder the weight. You connect with an 8.4-inch touchscreen and the superior ride and handling to help you go above and beyond. Get a great deal on America's longest-lasting pickups during the Ram Labor Day sales event.
Get 0% APR for 72 months or financing at 20% off total values on the 2017 Ram 1500 Laramie Crew Cab.
It's all about pride,
honor,
and service.
As a firefighter, you can become a member of a truly elite group of people. Firefighters protect the lives and property of their neighbors. If this kind of work sounds exciting, firefighting is for you.
I love the excitement and the work. It's great being a fireman. I really enjoy being a firefighter and a paramedic and would recommend the profession to anyone.
Every community needs volunteers to survive, and your community needs you.
I'm First Alert Chief Meteorologist Wade Hampton. We will continue to track Hurricane Harvey throughout the weekend and be tracking potential impacts for us here in Southwest Louisiana. We will, of course, keep you informed right here on television, online, and on our weather app. Now is a perfect time. If you do not have our First Alert weather app on your smartphone, go to your app store now, search for KPLC Weather, and download our app now. The First Alert weather team keeping you ahead of Hurricane Harvey.
We surprised fans with this award-winning lineup. Then, they experienced Nissan's award-winning lineup.
Stop for it. That's incredible.
It's Nissan's bottom line model year-end event. Lease the Rogue family, starting at just $159 per month.
I want the public to be very, very cautious. Don't let your guard down at this point. If it's for nothing, then we just got lucky again. And I hope that's what happens. But eventually, our luck's going to run out. At some point, we're going to have to deal with this, and I'm afraid it may be tonight. But, we're going to be hopefully cautious and optimistic, but I just don't want the public to let their guard down.
Some wise words from Sheriff Tony Mancuso earlier today. Elected officials from all over Southwest Louisiana gathering to discuss the plan of action for Tropical Storm Harvey. Officials urging everyone to stay inside until at least tomorrow night. Welcome back. Let's send it right over to Chief Meteorologist Wade Hampton for that latest check of our forecast. Wade?
Yeah, Christian, and the sheriff's right. Yeah, definitely one of these days our luck will run out on this. So, yes, it is best to be smart about things, and please use caution out there. The good news right now, there's not a lot of rain around. We're beginning to see rain again, yes. I realize some of you are saying, hey, I'm hearing raindrops outside, and yes, that is true, but it is not as widespread or as heavy as what we saw this morning into the early afternoon. But it is a sign, I think, that we're going to see more and more of this as we head through the evening hours and overnight tonight. There's the radar in motion, everything moving off. The individual showers are moving north-northwest fairly quickly, but they are slowly working their way east at the same time as a line or as a whole. They work their way off to the east. Bottom line, as I move the radar down, you can see there is more rain farther to the south offshore. A lot of this, I think, may end up impacting Acadiana later on tonight, since it is going to continue working its way to the east. It is a trend that I will be watching closely. But I'm actually more concerned about this band of rain from Houston Point south, because that too will work its way east with time. That will also build an increase in size and coverage of rain. So bottom line, I do still think we're going to deal with rain overnight tonight. The big question is how much, and honestly, that is a huge question. I'll have a look at some of the latest computer model data, and we'll talk about the 7-day again, too, in a few minutes. Christian?
Okay, Wade, thank you. Mayor Nick Hunter making a big announcement this evening. He's opened up the Purple Heart Memorial Rec Center for the homeless population in the area. KPLC's Caitlin Russ spoke with Mayor Hunter and joins us now with more of what he had to say.
Yes, Christian. I'm here at the rec center where I'm joined by Mayor Nick Hunter, who has decided to open up the doors for the night for those who need to get out of the weather and need a place to stay. Thank you for joining us again.
You're welcome. Thank you for being here.
Of course. So you were saying before, a lot of people actually have showed up.
Yes, we've actually had more people than I personally expected, and it's a sobering reminder about the homeless population here in Lake Charles. Really a conversation that we need to continue to have, not only for weather events like this, but moving forward in the future. It just really is a reminder that we do have a population out there in need.
Of course, it's a very eye-opening experience being here tonight. So you were saying spaces are limited, and it is a temporary amount of time they can stay here, correct?
Yeah, we really want to stress that to people. This is a very temporary situation. We're hoping that as soon as the worst part of the weather moves out, 24, maybe 48 hours, we can transition them into some other situation.
Of course, and if someone does need to absolutely come here, what would be the process to get in here?
Well, we've been working with a couple different groups. The Water's Edge Church has a group that really goes out and tries to engage some of the homeless population and let them know about different services. So they can reach out to that group, or if they show up here and they really have nowhere else to go, we'll make it happen. They can just show up.
Thank you again for taking the time to talk to us tonight.
You're welcome. Thank you, Caitlin.
Of course. So we're going to let everyone get some rest over here, and I'm going to wrap it up. But for now, at your service, live in Lake Charles, Caitlin Russ, KPLC 7 News.
Katie, thanks a lot. And per usual, many roads flooded across southwest Louisiana in the heavy rain. KPLC's Paris Jones spent time assessing the floods and joins us now live. Paris. Okay, it seems like we're having some technical difficulties right now with all of that rain. So let's send it right now over to a story coming out of Houston. Let's go. All right. Okay, so we're going to... All right. With the heavy flooding right now, there are many schools closed tomorrow. Sorry about all the confusion. This is obviously a very fluid situation. Right now, Calcasieu Parish public and private schools are closed. Cameron Parish public and private schools are closed as well. McNeese State, Sowella Technical Community Colleges are also closed. And as we get more information on if there are any other closings, we'll be sure to add that to our website, kplctv.com, as well as our 7 News mobile app. And well, with widespread flooding, some power outages are expected. This is a live look at current energy outages. Here we have 140 residents in Calcasieu Parish without power, 25 in Jeff Davis Parish. Okay, Wade, what can we expect as we go into tonight, my friend?
Well, we're still watching those showers, and I think we're going to see an increase in those as we head later on tonight. There's a look at 7 Shore Vision HD. There are showers around. Most of this is light enough. I don't think we're going to see any issues immediately from this, but certainly later tonight, problems could arise. I'll talk about the timing, and yeah, we'll look at that 7-day too right after this.
Hurry, it's the final days of the Ford Summer Sales Event.
I'll jump out and guide you back. Easy, son. This is going to blow your mind. Whoa. Awesome. That is really cool.
Take on summer right with Ford, America's best-selling brand. It's our best offer of the year on F-150. Get 0% for 72 months plus an additional $1,000 on top of your trade-in.
Hurry in and get F-150 with 0 for 72 plus $1,000 on top of your trade-in. Don't wait. The Ford Summer Sales Event and this deal ends September 5th.
Identity theft can happen to anyone.
My savings account and my checking accounts were both drained. All of my money was gone.
I could not believe that somebody would steal my tax refund. It made me angry.
She had my social security number, and she was able to make a purchase for $8,000.
Today's technology makes identity theft easier and easier. If you use a smartphone, shop online, use public Wi-Fi, or fill out forms or applications, you're at risk. There's a new victim of identity fraud every 2 seconds. 1 in 4 people have already experienced it. Is there anything you can do about it?
I called LifeLock.
Millions of people have already become members. LifeLock's proprietary technology scans hundreds of millions of transactions each second to spot threats to your identity. If we detect your information being used, you get an alert. If you have a problem, a U.S.-based restoration agent will work to fix it. And you'll be covered by LifeLock's $1 million protection package, including lawyers and experts if needed, and reimbursement of stolen funds and personal expenses up to the limits of your plan.
You have this whole team of people on your side, and you know that you don't have to go it alone.
And unlike free credit monitoring that just monitors your credit, LifeLock detects and works to fix identity theft.
LifeLock, they're not just going to monitor your credit, they're going to be there to help you afterwards if something happens.
Join today for as low as $9.99 per month and get 60 days risk-free with promo code LL60. LifeLock members get identity threat detection and alerts, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration agent assigned to your case, and you'll be covered by LifeLock's $1 million protection package. Start your membership today. Enroll in minutes.
Having LifeLock, we didn't feel like victims anymore.
LifeLock. Call 1-800-403-2659 or visit LifeLock60.com. Use promo code LL60 to get your 60 days risk-free and a free shredder with annual membership. Call now.
From the 7-Storm Team, your first alert weather with Chief Meteorologist Wade Hampton.
Well, good evening to you. Watching rain continuing to develop once again across southwest Louisiana. And I think we're going to see a big increase in this later tonight into the early morning hours tomorrow. And it's likely to come from the west, working its way east across the area. This is exactly what happened earlier today. We saw a lot of rain in Houston. That's when they got all that flooding. It started very early yesterday morning, in fact, in portions of Houston, or actually early this morning into late last night, and then slowly worked its way east. Now, thankfully, it weakened as it moved over our area, and that very well may be the case again tonight into tomorrow, but I do want to stress the potential is there for upwards of at least 5 inches of rain, maybe some localized spots, nearly 10 inches of rain by the time we end the day tomorrow. So please be mindful of that. You know, it doesn't take much rain to cause flooding on some streets anyway. Just a couple of inches. We saw that earlier today. Officially, between 2 to 3 inches of rain fell and many streets were flooded. So if you have even more rain than that, and especially considering things are already saturated, you get the idea. It's not going to take a lot of rain to cause some streets, at least, to become flooded. Now, here's a look at the radar, a little closer view. Everything is working its way from south to north. The good coverage of rain across northern portions of Calcasieu Parish, places like Benton to Starks towards DeQuincy seeing rain. There's some light rain falling here in downtown. Moss Bluff, you guys have rain. And some of that continues farther north as well. Certainly some heavier rain falling in places like Grand Lake to Sweet Lake, seeing some rain that continues down toward the Grand Chenier area. And moving offshore, there are additional showers and thunderstorms out here. And again, I've mentioned it every time because the potential is there for at least a brief, short-lived tornado to possibly form from any of these cells as they move north off the Gulf of Mexico inland. But once they move inland, that threat's likely to decrease quickly. I've seen several of those, what we call couplets in meteorology, little vortices that show up that usually indicate a tornado on the velocity in the radar. But once it moves inland, that quickly weakens, and what tornado was probably there weakens. I'll continue to monitor it for you and keep you posted through the evening until Ben arrives. In the morning, radar estimated rainfall totals of the last 24 hours. Louisiana has been relatively lucky, but our friends and neighbors to the west, not so much. But there have been a few what I call hot spots here in southwest Louisiana. That's the southwest corner of portions of Cameron Parish, where radar shows 6 to maybe as much as 10 inches of rain fell. Again, on average, Calcasieu Parish between 2 to maybe a few areas closer to 4 inches of rain. But because more rain is likely, a flash flood watch is in effect through Thursday. Yeah, through Thursday, not just through tomorrow. And that's because every day, at least for Thursday, probably on into Friday, there will be the potential for rain. And of course, since the ground's already saturated, yeah, it's not going to take much to produce flooding potential. Here's the wider view of the satellite radar. There are the showers and storms to our south. I do think with time this will progress to the east and maybe more of an issue for Acadiana. I'm more concerned about this band that's starting to set up from Houston south. This will likely work east with time and probably be what we have to contend with. The big question is, will it weaken as it arrives here, or will it still be producing quite a bit of rain? That we're just going to have to kind of wait and see. Again, Futurecast here is definitely overdoing the coverage of rain now, so my faith in its forecast is a little reduced, but you do see the idea that it shows rain coming in from the west in the early morning hours tomorrow. That's certainly likely to be the case. The question is, again, will it be weakening or be strengthening as it arrives? Meteorologist Ben Terry will keep you posted throughout the early morning hours and including on sunrise first thing tomorrow morning. There is a tornado watch until 2 a.m. for Calcasieu, Jeff Davis, and Cameron Parish. Probably will see that extended well into the morning hours tomorrow. Quick look at the latest on Tropical Storm Harvey. Officially, it is inland still, but it is going to be moving back out toward the Gulf of Mexico briefly tomorrow into the day Tuesday before it makes a big left-hand turn and moves right back north, unfortunately over the Houston area, then finally moving out of our states, but not until Friday. So Harvey is going to be around our vicinity for probably most of the week ahead. I do think tomorrow is our greatest threat of widespread heavy rain. After that, we'll just kind of have to do the forecast day to day and see how things progress. But bottom line tonight, there is the potential for heavier rain closer to tomorrow morning.
Okay, sounds like we have our work cut out for us.
We do. It's going to be a busy week.
All right, thanks, Wade. And good news, he's back. KPLC's Paris Jones has been out all day at flooded roads and now joins us live. Paris, talk about what you saw today. Out of this. Okay, again, we're having some more technical difficulties. Obviously, we apologize. Coming up, we'll have more on Tropical Storm Harvey after the break. Stay with us.
Save big now during Billy Navar Honda's biggest sale this year.
And now, drive a new Billy Navar Honda Accord for only $189 a month. Or drive a new Billy Navar Honda CRV for only $199 a month.
At Billy Navar Honda in Lake Charles.
When I think of home furnishing, the first thing that comes to mind is good quality furniture, good staff, furniture that I found that lasts.
For a long time, I dealt with the same salesperson who kind of knew my family, knew my needs, would walk me through it, would laugh and talk with me. It was more like shopping with a friend instead of shopping with a salesperson.
They assembled everything, and when they left my house, my furniture was in the places where I wanted and needed it to be.
Home Furniture Plus Bedding. We'll save you money, folks.
A truck slammed into my minivan on a Saturday, so I called Gordon. Someone came to see me in the hospital the same day. By Monday, Gordon was already working the case. And in no time, I had a huge settlement check in my hand. Thank you, Gordon.
That's right. At Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys, we work weekends. We answer the phone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So whether it's 10 in the morning or 10 at night, we're ready to go to work for you.
Call 888-8888.
Folks in Southwest Louisiana demand a dependable truck, and the Chevy Silverado is the most dependable, longest-lasting full-size truck on the road over the last 30 years. Plus, the 2017 J.D. Power Dependability Study confirms Chevrolet is the #1 domestic brand with full-size trucks, while Ford and Ram are dead last. So for the most dependable full-size truck, check out the 2017 Chevy Silverado today at your Lake Charles area Chevy dealers.
KPLC and the Diamond Durrell's Diamond Team want to make your day sparkle. Enter our giveaway and you could win a Ronaldo Power of Prayer bracelet valued at $70. Log on to KPLCTV.com and click on the contest page to enter today. KPLC and the Diamond Durrell's Diamond Team want to make your day sparkle. Enter our giveaway and you could win a Ronaldo Power of Prayer bracelet valued at $70. Log on to KPLCTV.com and click on the contest page to enter today.
Save big now during Billy Navar Honda's biggest sale this year.
And now, drive a new Billy Navar Honda Accord for only $189 a month. Or drive a new Billy Navar Honda CRV for only $199 a month.
At Billy Navar Honda in Lake Charles.
Tonight, the governor announced he has asked for a federal emergency declaration for 5 parishes, including Beauregard, Calcasieu, Cameron, Jeff Davis, and Vermilion parishes. This is in anticipation of possible heavy rains in that area. The governor says more parishes could be added as needed. The remains of Hurricane Harvey are pounding Houston. Streets are flooded. Power has been knocked out to much of the city. The city's residents are now struggling to get to higher ground. President Trump plans to visit Texas on Tuesday. NBC's Jay Gray reports from the flood-ravaged city.
The water and tensions continue to climb in Houston. The remnants of Hurricane Harvey spilling over the nation's 4th largest city. The National Weather Service warning up to 50 inches of rain could fall on some areas.
You know, you get this much rain in 24 hours, you know. 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock last night, everything was cool. And then the heavens opened up, we're getting 5 inches of rain an hour.
The rain was heavy, constant, and fast, the flooding catching many off guard.
So when I opened the door, more water rushed in. And all of my stuff flew out, and like it just kept coming in. So I shut the door back, and I was like, I got to get out.
Search and rescue missions are underway, but first responders are struggling to keep up with all the calls for help.
The system, there are a lot of people who are calling, but let me ask for a gift. Let's give preference to the life-threatening calls. Okay.
Everything from helicopters to boats to flatbed trucks have been deployed to deliver victims to higher ground.
And we prayed a lot, and we just praised God, and we were rescued, so we're very thankful.
Residents who need help have been told to avoid attics. Rescuers are worried people may be trapped inside.
It's pretty bad right there. We need some chainsaws and some axes so we can get people out of their houses. We got the fire, as you can tell, down here. The police are down there with their boats, but they're requesting that we get some axes and some chainsaws.
It is a desperate race now against the water, trying to get thousands of people to safety here. Jay Gray, NBC News, Houston.
Coming up after the break, Wade is going to have another check of your full forecast.
Why put up with average when you can have the best? Get to Nissan of Lake Charles now for the all-new 2017 Titan. With more available options than Chevy or Ford, you get standard features like best warranty with 5 years, 100,000 miles bumper to bumper. Best standard towing and horsepower. That's towing up to 12,000 pounds. All standard. Better than Ford. Better than Chevy. Don't settle for less. Starting at only $34,780. Or get a featured lease for $399 a month and see why people are saying Titan is better.
And remember, at Nissan of Lake Charles, we're making deals every day.
Lake Charles's premier free outdoor concert series is back. It's Groovin' at the Grove in the beautiful Walnut Grove neighborhood. First Thursdays of the month, starting September 7th, with Grammy-nominated Roddy Romero and the Hub City All-Stars. On October 5th, it's the band Smoke with Louisiana legends TK Hewland, Gigi Shin, and Steve Adams. And on November 2nd, get down to the party band groove with GTO. Also, special intermission entertainment with the new Natives Brass Band. It's outdoor fun with all your favorite food trucks, local brews, and wine. Don't forget your lawn chairs and blankets. Very special thanks to all our event and media sponsors. It's Groovin'.
What kind of crowd do you run with? September 23rd, the Christus St. Patrick Foundation invites you to run with the nuns. Rev up your motorcycle, hop in your Jeep, or grab your running shoes, because this year there are 3 ways to run: running or riding, and stick around afterward for our heavenly rice and gravy cook-off. Whether you're on 2 feet, 2 wheels, or in a 4-wheel drive, you'll be helping the foundation build a new state-of-the-art cardiac surgical suite. So get in gear and register today and get ready to run with the nuns.
Here's another great restaurant from the Coca-Cola Restaurant Guide on KPLCTV.com.
For great home-style Cajun food, come join us at Southern Spice for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Gumbo, plate lunches, and our homemade onion rings are just a few of the items you'll find on our menu. Come try your favorites with an ice cold Coke.
From home-style cooking to upscale dining, Southwest Louisiana knows great food tastes better with an ice-cold Coca-Cola. Find hundreds of local restaurants on KPLCTV.com. Just click on the Coca-Cola Restaurant Guide.
We're bringing you the latest news and events from McNeese State University in the McNeese Spotlight. Find the McNeese Spotlight every other Thursday in 7 News Sunrise. The McNeese Spotlight is sponsored by Sasol. Wherever you are, we are. Download the 7 News Now app today. Your Wake Up Weather is sponsored by Olier's Home Improvement and Olier's Specialty Roofing.
With the threat of flooding right now, there are many schools closed tomorrow. All Calcasieu and Cameron Parish public and private schools will be closed. Jeff Davis Parish schools will be closed as well. They'll join McNeese and the Sowella Technical Community College. This list will be updated as the week and day goes on. You can find the full list online at KPLCTV.com and your 7 News mobile app. Wade?
And, of course, we'll also be updating day to day if those changes begin tomorrow, because the weather tomorrow is bad, but could be worse the rest of the week, too. We'll be watching that closely. There's a look at the radar, though. Seeing somewhat of an increase in showers. I don't see anything terribly heavy here yet. And notice offshore, I do think a lot of that may end up moving closer to Acadiana, but the area I'm more concerned about is what's going on near Houston, because what goes on over there will eventually head our direction. So rain chances will increase with time overnight. Be sure and use our 7 Storm Team mobile weather app to track any rain before you have to head out the door tomorrow morning, if at least you do have to go out there. can always check the radar and see what is going on. And of course, meteorologist Ben Terry will be in a couple of hours, and he'll be watching things overnight. Until he gets here, though, I will be monitoring things, because there is that threat, too, of at least an isolated tornado or two as those storms move inland off the Gulf, Christian. So I'll be watching that closely. And if that does occur, if there's any warnings, I'll be on the air here and let you know about it.
Okay. And also, I just want to ask you, since there are so many new faces into Southwest Louisiana, do you have any pro tips ahead of this potential strong storm?
The biggest one, of course, is if you come upon a roadway that's flooded with water over it, do not drive through it. Even if you think it's okay to pass, I would urge you not to drive through it, especially if you're not familiar with the area, because sometimes the water may be deeper than it appears.
I'm going to be honest with you guys for a second. I'm one of those people who is from Chicago and got into a pretty shady situation the other day. So
be smart.
Be smart. Absolutely. The Sunrise Crew is back here tomorrow at 4:30. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.
Get your news on the go. Download the free KPLC News and Weather apps. Search KPLC in your app store today. Sponsored by CNC Home Appliances. Closed captioning for 7 News is sponsored by New Look Furniture and Mattress Joe, where Lake Charles buys Tempur-Pedic.